Fertiliser budgeting is a big thing this year, and I'm just going to run you through a little spreadsheet that I've developed, which you can copy yourself to help you calculate your fertiliser cost, model different scenarios with rates and changes of prices, and work out how it fits into your overall cash flow budget for the year. So what we've got here is separating our urea and our MAP. You might want to put them in together. I just find it's easier to separate them as two separate line items in our budget because they're driven by different things and they have different pricing. Now we're just starting off with some big numbers as a modelling for a modelling scenario. We've mapped out our months of the year here because there's two main things we want to calculate. One is that overall price where we've got our total cost of that particular input, and then we're looking at when it's to be paid through the year. So we start off with the number of hectares. We're looking at our rate there. Just be careful working between tonnage rates and kilos per hectare rates. Don't go anywhere near the imperial. That'll just confuse you even further. So we're working at 0.2 of a tonne, which over here we've calculated to be 200 kilos. So we can work out this sum here by quickly calculating equals hectares times tonnes per hectare times dollars per tonne. Now formulas in Excel are dynamic, so if we change the price and model a price drop, we can see the overall impact that has on our total fertiliser budget. Now you might want to get a little bit more complex here. This is obviously a very simplistic scenario. You might be having a number of different crop types which you could map across the top here. So you might also want to add 500 hectares of a cropping area which has a lower rate because of your soil history, soil testing results or cropping history. We put the price in there and again can multiply that out. And you might say that this is your wheat here and this is your barley. And we'll just total that cell by adding that plus that. Now, in terms of mapping that out across our months of the year, we can just say, well, that's 225, we'll pay 100,000 here, and we pay 100,000 here, and we pay 25,000 here. And that looks good, and it's neat and tidy, and we can copy that information across to our budgeting files. However, when we realise that, we're still in our dreamland of it being $900 a tonne and we want to update those prices, nothing flows through. So what I recommend you do is look at the percentage you're going to pay per month and then multiply that by the particular percentage. So we might say, this is a better way of doing it, we might say we pay 33% in that month. We'll just change this to a percentage. So we'll go 33 there, 33 here, and 33 there. And we can write a little formula which says this cell equals this cell times by this cell. So basically January's payment equals the total cost times by what we decide to pay in that month. So if we decide to pay 10% in January, that figure will fall in there. So we just have to map that formula across and we lock it in to these cells here. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with Excel, I might be moving a little bit too quickly. We've got an online course which goes through all of this a lot more slowly and lets you deal lesson by lesson in terms of address things like formatting and all of that. But for those of you that are a little bit familiar, I hope you can keep up or just play the video again. So here we're actually looking at paying 10% there. We just have to adjust those numbers downward. Obviously 30, that gives us 40%, 30 and 30. It can be really useful to put a check cell here. So we look at adding up all of those months and that gives us a total of 300,000. And we can quickly look to what our total is here to see if it matches that. Or we put in a check cell which says this minus this, and your check cell should be 0. So if you ended up going in here and putting 10% in there, you would know that that balance is out by 10. So your overall budget for FERT doesn't match when you're planning to pay for it. And you can then come in and correct that. And there's much fancier ways of doing things. There's always better ways in Excel. It's just finding something that's simple, doesn't get you confused, doesn't use overly complicated formulas which are then hard to follow and hard for someone reading a spreadsheet to interpret. So that's just a quick little snapshot. Percentage payments might not make sense to you. You might want to work in truckloads. So you might want to say how many tons you're paying for in each month and work out, well, you'll get so many loads delivered in May, so many loads delivered in June, and so many delivered in July, and you'll be dividing that then by your truck capacity, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 tons, whatever you're dealing in there. So I've got a similar one done here for MAP. The last little thing I want to show you is how to map this information back into your main budget spreadsheet. So we go over here to our budget sheet. We've got a line there for growing fertiliser, which is our urea. We press the equals button. We go over to our FERT spreadsheet. We press it on the January column. We go there. And then we copy that cell right across there to December. So we can see that. And just remember, we've got 30, 90, 90, 90. If we go in here and decide that we're going to pay more up front, take that off there and change that to 20%, or sorry, 10%. Where are we going? 50, we need 40 in here. Check cells correct. Now those figures have flowed through to our budget. If we go back into Dreamland, again, quite happily, in Fairyland, we can see that impact then on our bottom line at the bottom of our budget. So give those things a go. This spreadsheet template's available in our cash flow budgeting course. If you do our Excel course, you may well be able to develop the skills to build something like that quite quickly for yourself, or get a few ideas about how to improve your own really focused, targeted, business-specific spreadsheets for your farm decision making and record keeping. Thank you.